Welcome to our presentation on Anger and Envy in Modern Western Civilization by Daniel Blair, Matthew Dlugos, Morgan Lounsbury, and Colin Spengler. We wanted to explore exactly how these two sins are detailed and portrayed in Western culture and society.
She's after killing Jews. Bravery.
Shit in my pants if I was you.
Teddy fucking Williams knocks it out of the park. Fenway Park on his feet for Teddy fucking ball game. He went yard on that one onto fucking Lansdowne Street. You.
Anger is represented all throughout the film in Glorious Bastards. The crew of Jewish American soldiers, known by the Nazis as the Bastards, hunt down and brutally kill as many Nazi leaders as they can. Their motivation is retaliation and revenge, which is a feeling based on the emotion of anger that a person feels when something is taken from them or done to them. In 2009, multiple PhD researchers set up a game in which a group of students chose how to invest their money. Everyone needed to cooperate in order to benefit. However, some students could choose not to be selfish and disproportionately benefit at the expense of the other students. The lead researcher, Kevin Carlsmith, said that when this happened, virtually everybody was angry, and everyone given the opportunity for revenge took it. In this scene of Pulp Fiction, Vince and Jules are sent to retrieve the infamous briefcase from an associate named Brett. After some dialogue, Jules recites the biblical passage of Ezekiel 25:17, which goes along the lines of saying that, "Blessed is he who helps his brothers out in the times of evil, and any man trying to injure or betray my brother will be met with all of my anger and revengeance, and I will destroy him." Then Jules goes on to unload his entire clip of bullets into Brett for double-crossing their boss. Pixar deals with anger differently than normal cinema does, because they're specifically targeting children as their main audience. 2015's Inside Out was a prime example of how anger is portrayed to kids, as one of the main characters is the emotion of anger personified as a short and stout, bright red character that frequently combusts into flames when irritated. Throughout the film, he throws things, yells, and is outwardly aggressive with his anger. A loose cannon with little self-control, this portrayal of a child's anger is understandable, as a child's impulse control is usually less developed than a full-grown adult's. Although anger is often shown as over-the-top and destructive in this movie, its portrayal is not without its positive moments. At several points within the film, anger is shown to be motivational, useful, and overall an important feeling to learn and experience as an adolescent. A common topic of music nowadays is anger. Whether it's in the form of rebellion or social criticism, songs about anger are easily found. In a song by the rapper Tyler, the Creator, he criticizes how his childhood missed a father. This song, Answer, goes on about his passive-aggressive anger and how his father was never present while he was growing up. The majority of music written by the rock band Rage Against the Machine is social criticism or about rebellion. This theme is seen obviously in their name. Most, if not all, of their music is inherently angry. One of their most famous songs, Killing in the Name Of, criticizes the way that the United States government conducts its business and police departments. Overall, it speaks of killing blindly. People claim to be killing for good, but what is it all for? Rock and rap are easy genres of music to look into about anger because the style of the background tracks is usually more intense and therefore gives off a more angry vibe. Anger can also be seen in more mild genres as well. In the popular song Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood, the anger behind a cheating boyfriend is clearly seen in her violent acts of revenge. Even on Broadway, anger is clearly seen. In the newly popular musical Dear Evan Hansen, the main character has begun to take all the credit for a newly national popular anti-suicide movement. His mother and two best friends start to go after him because of this. They are obviously angry for the fact that their work in the project has not been recognized as much as his. Two quintessential examples of the power of envy in American cinema come in the forms of Travis Bickle, the protagonist of Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver from 1976, and Daniel Plainview, the central character in Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood from 2007. Both movies feature star performances from Robert De Niro and Daniel Day-Lewis, respectively. De Niro, as taxi driver Travis Bickle, is an angry Vietnam War veteran whose envy at those around him who are more secure financially and emotionally than him causes a bottomless anger directed at those who he perceives as below him. He embarks on a mission to clean the streets of the vice he believes plagues New York City. Daniel Plainview, on the other hand, is a successful oil speculator in early 20th century California. Despite his success, his unbending drive for more power and money, a critique of American capitalism, leads him to more and more destructive behavior, eventually even murder. "I have a competition in me," he says in one monologue. "I want no one else to succeed. I hate most people." What these two characters represent from a societal point of view is the unending power of envy that has manifested itself in Western culture. Envy, as Epstein says in his book on envy, is at its core about coveting what others have. What Bickle and Plainview represent is that envy and the feeling of inferiority it inspires are not means to a material end, but an end in and of itself. No amount of cleanliness of the New York City streets will ever satiate Bickle, and no amount of money or land will satisfy Plainview. Their envy is rooted in a relationship towards others, where they can only see other people as incentives rather than ends in themselves. The growth of capitalism has inculcated this idea into the West, that material gain is paramount to all else. As Epstein notes, envy tends to diminish all whom it takes into possession. A different look at envy can be seen in the cult classic Heathers from 1988, starring Winona Ryder and Christian Slater as the main killer couple. Throughout cinema, the classic mean girl clique is always lusted after and seen as a standard of perfection. Heathers hold this standard all throughout time. These three girls, all named Heather, are envied for their perfect looks and personalities. It is seen as a status symbol to be able to even speak to them. So when Veronica Sawyer is accepted into their group, another standard of envy is set amongst Westerberg High. The main envier of this clique is Martha Dunstag, the most perfect image of the imperfect girl, nerdy, overweight, and socially awkward. After the suicide of the main Heather, Heather McNamara, and the later suicides of the two-star football players, Martha follows their lead by attempting this herself. This constant envy is the motive behind every brash action taken throughout the movie. The same theme of envy can be seen in a more modern setting as well as in the popular movie from 2004, Mean Girls. This same clique is also seen as the standard of perfection across their high school. When one starts a trend, even if by accident, everyone else must follow. If they look like the popular girls, then they will also be the ones envied.
Scar! Brother, help me!
Long live the king.
The Lion King might be the most obvious and notable depiction of envy in cinema, and it was designed to be tailored to children. If you've ever read Hamlet, you will most likely have seen parallels between the tales. Scar has grown up as a second fiddle to his older brother Mufasa, who is the current king of the Pride Lands. Scar's envy shines through as he plots to kill his brother and nephew by trapping them in a stampede of wildebeest. He successfully kills Mufasa and believes to have had Simba killed, leaving him as the king. This does not last forever, though, as Simba eventually returns to retake the throne from his traitorous uncle. The overarching lessons in this movie are abound, but the clear message to children is that envy and jealousy will only lead to your eventual downfall. In summation, the sins of anger and envy are propagated all throughout Western culture. From movies to music to the Broadway stage, it is impossible to escape the influence of these two core human emotions.